Hello guys, this is Phoenix here. Pretty much deck profile is normal, but also pretty much this is gonna be delayed a little bit than I usually would do because I have my family visiting. I also got a chiropractor, and I also need to finish out this event. So far my deck is still the same, and I pretty much have about roughly, as you can see, 1960 600. Sadly, I still need to get some stuff done, and I pretty much am just busy with this little festival, and I pretty much don't have time. I got total 9 matches in total. I only got 8 saved, and when I got back here, so nothing much happening besides toxic decks, family visiting. Overall, today's gonna be hectic overall to me as a whole. Pretty much the deck profile is pretty much the first one. It's pretty much Cyberstein. Apparently, alongside a mostly monster deck, they might as well just mostly just putting something else. Using Crusadia, Crusadia engines, which are basically something for links overall, and it's more like getting a more bricky because no spells. Alongside a tech in of Jinzo's, Jinzo the Menace, pretty much because of the festival. Kaiju's mostly alongside Royal Legacy and Parallel Exceed, which is not surprising, and utilizing questionable extra cards for fusion, obviously. While Red Reboot is not surprising overall, let's get straight to match. Overall, overall, I had to go to bed a little bit earlier than I normally do because of everything, and I also want to make sure at least I get lunch. Taking my sister's dog for for everything. I don't think I don't have time for today's shower though, but I just took one yesterday, so that's good. Pretty much today's my whole hectic day. I got a whole lot of stuff. Overall, my first move was Nest Nest. I didn't know my opponent was having overall, so I decided to go after this. I had to make Fountain Knights. It would have been a good target for Xyz, but now that I think about it, I should have utilized that as a steals, and I could have gotten a Link 2 out instead. Let's see, I still would have had one more monster. The Parallel Xyz would have actually, it was just Parallel Xyz, so basically, yeah. I used everything ultimately. Next something I got 2 TRaptrix today. My first one actually had that in their hand, and I was like, Torrent, it's time to Torrent you. Special summon that. Next suddenly reset my deck. Next suddenly I got Kaiju again. My opponent surprised me with this. Since I go Link 1 here, go into Surrey. Go into Link Breakoff. Now with 35 life points monster, and I pretty much could have gone for game, as you probably can tell. Because of the fact that I actually have tons of notes. Also, next one's against Dangers. Danger engine with Tri-Brigade. Slight. Alongside Dark. And alongside Rescue Cats, which makes sense concerning some of the cards, but mostly Tri-Brigade in mind. Surprised me that some cards be considered like normals. Actually, that's not different. Also, we got evenly matched, impermed, TRaptrix Serie, Tri-Brigade that, and Cyberstein combo mostly get into links. Overall, mostly some generic stuff, Ancient Wars, July Tri-Brigades, Nightmare Unicorn for out stuff, Summary, Access Code, mostly staple. Overall, straight to the match. I have a lot of time. The most I'm going to do is go over the deck profiles, post it, post this, post the stuff, edit it out later when I normally do, and I'm probably going to quit Master as well. Tomorrow, pretty much, and I still am holding up for playing Pokemon. I pretty much had a lot of outs for stuff, and I was happy. They essentially did that, and I decided to negate it and mostly make them punish. Activate card. They also got Imperm, which I thought they had one, but I wasn't sure. But I still have one more out for everything. Essentially, I decided to do that. Go into the link here for Survey as well again. Torrent here. Point had that out. Essentially, I pretty much get as much as I can, as well as 3-set Gravekeeper. Go into Surrey, mostly for a higher attack. Mostly, but mostly so I can actually have to worry about traps. But my opponent decided to get up here either way. Next match was against Sci-Frame Engine, using the hamster engine stuff. All of it. Prick hits, Gingotits, a lot of camera. Mostly, to not say most of their agents though, I'd say there should be running more block agent personally probably for this whole thing. Outside some staples. Overall, that we mostly see a lot of. Too many of them. I gotta admit, this is probably my best matches. I did everything I needed to in 2 turns to have an out for everything. This was probably my best outs for anything I could have done. A lot of people just quit on me instantly in spots. Overall, I still need like 3,000. In Premier, I was like, eh. I was like, Ash would have been better in hand. Set a whole bunch of my traps. The only difference is I have 5 slots utilizing traps. I put show monsters. I do. I said I allow it since not much is happening. I said I torn here now that they normaled. And I said side frame, I was like, yeah, not happening. And I still had one more card essentially to play, which was also which was Void Chapel, Spikes, and Chain. So I still had a couple more mounts to work with. Overall, next match is going to take as much long as Dragonmaids of all things, which shocked me. Alongside using some Pendulum monsters like Trump Witch, which is not surprising. Using a Abyss Actor, mostly so it's thing. From there, using Form Pal. Uses, so bringing Dark Worm. So they can actually search skates more. They do arcs, but they're pretty much just utilizing its joy stuff. I don't know why. Mostly a lot of odd choices, I feel like, in Rocket Caliber, which doesn't surprise me. Doltier, Cyber, Synchron's lane cards out of me. Outside using Necro Fusion, Dragonmaid tagging, Pendulum Switch, which is not surprising. And next up, also utilizing a lot of cards they can't run normally, or would normally not run for this whole event. As well as Underworld Goddess. Overall, this whole match, it felt like it was more back and forth than anything. But the next one, balling this one, was super lucky in a sense that they actually got a whole lot of stuff to work with. I mostly do back and forth interesting matches. So, essentially I bricked here, and I was like, I wish I was on second, but I needed to go first most of my traps. I decided to imperm here, so I had to deal with it. I decided to go triple spikes, mostly so I can get rid of it. I just didn't want him to add more cards to the hand, and I do not know what the heck I'm dealing with matchup-wise. Decided to go TRaptrix, mostly deal normal damage, then go Ziray, so I have my backup plan. I had 2 Solemns, I had TRaptrix. Overall, my opponent didn't want me to use anything. I decided to go into attacking just because I needed to get my declare attack daily done with, but also so I can know what I'm dealing with. Decided a Podler here. I should activate Torrent here. So I solemned it so I can get rid of it. So I can decide to go to battle. Torrent here, mostly so I can get rid of everything. Reset to guess, mostly so I get my last trump. So I go into cereal area, mostly so I can build my field up again, but also so I can set my trap back to normal with trap strikes. I decided to go to battle since I already had an out in form Void Chapel. I decided to ash that so they cannot target set to return back to hand at. Reset it back down. They decided to make me lose, but I still have an out for stuff. I decided to get rid of that trap since it's mostly going to be annoying. The only thing I sad about is that I didn't have a chance to use trap pull spikes. But I still had an out since I had a feeling. I still had a couple more outs for stuff, but that was my best play. Next match is against Burn, but the mostly costing the match was Machina, machining the Timelord alongside some traps, like Magic Cylinder, which I can negate anytime I want. The only try that int paused me was a gift card. I was like, it's probably Burn deck originally, but I didn't think they'd be running Machina. But outside that, I'm much surprised the running Dark Lord yesterday. Dark Lord Nurse. The Dark Lord mostly so you can discard and one Dark Lord card to mostly draw some engine cards. Overall, this whole duel ended up costing me a lot. Overall, I wasn't cocky that match. Also, I really need to look at the microphone, actual microphone, I feel like. Mostly so I can actually listen to stuff. Also, so I managed to go to use my headset more easily. As soon as I saw this, I was like, what the heck am I dealing with? I decided to go into TRaptrix Mantis to get spikes in my hand. But instead, I should have activated Mantis originally. As we'll later find out why. As soon as I saw that, I was like, Burn, okay, now, I don't need a whole lot of outs. I go into Surrey, but I should have gone into TRaptrix pretty much. That turn, that's what I realized. I should have gone into my Link instead. I decided to negate it. But also, I essentially did have an out. So this is the only thing I was mad about. I hate, since they have Shoei, the only way I could have gone out was if I get Imperm. I decided to go into Refuge since I had nothing else to work with. Go into another Link for Surrey. Special summon out. Since I had nothing else to target. Go and activate Gravedigger's Trample. Essentially, it's here where I lost. TRaptrix Trample, Path of Ends, Try and Guess, and Dark Reaction. That's where I would have lost regardless. It instantly caused me a depression arc because of it for a while. Tri-Brigades, I was facing alongside Zoodiacs. Engine mix, that's just not surprising for the whole event. Using Imperms to try to make a Volt. Ice Dragon in Prison. Sound them in the warning. Overall, I wish I got more outs. Using all the Zodiac's cards alongside Zeus as backup. Utilizing all that stuff, including only generic card for Link-wise being access code, which is not surprising. I think I went first or I can't remember if I went first or second. This was like not long ago, but I think the most I'm gonna do is let this upload, go over this, maybe, and just do time stats while waiting for it to upload because I want to go bed at 6 a.m. here. Essentially, I Striper's dagger in my hand. Void. Had Grave Diggers so I can negate stuff and have Mirror Force backup. Zodiac. I decided to go Flood Gate since I instantly knew my opponent's going to do here. I activate Grave Diggers so I can do that. My opponent just gave it straight over there. This is how happy I was after the loss. So this was just for fun, lulls me. Okay, next match roll. Using 4 higher agent. I felt like I had tons of outs for against this deck, though, but I didn't feel like it. 4 hires are an interesting archetype, but not something I'll utilize. I feel like the shit running through such roads. Until Bandits, not surprising. Black Horn of Heaven. Overall, there's not really much stuff outside for hires that actually do, or I feel like there could be utilizing. I do not know for hire too well, but this is just mostly showing your deck profile. This match isn't that long. I might just do time steps actually, like I usually do. And I just realized I had this being muted the whole damn time for the audio background. I forgot I turned it off because of last stream when I was just racing Reddit, and I didn't want to be copyrighted or stuff while listening some sort of stuff. I decided for hire, I might as well at least get more monsters, figure out the heck I'm dealing with. Either way, I had to deal with some link stuff, and I didn't know what the heck I'm facing here. For hires are not something I know about too well. They essentially get traps. Get rid of trap, mostly, then set one floodgate triple. This is where I actually feel like I should have actually done stuff. I should have gone to floodgate triple for the link negate. But they didn't know what deck I'm set at this point. Solemn here. I did Syria here because I can't do anything here. Essentially, my hand just bricked the city. I said I guess Dynamics. Then like my opponent's actually demoving my back row, thinking one of them is the link one. But this is actually the misplay ended up making me win the game here. Getting Sparrow Sword. They have no outs. Even if they didn't lose the Kaiju here, which is about showing, yeah, I still would have won. I had great papers in my mind. Overall, it was just bad RNG. Next match was against the loner deck, Arcramine. Dinomorphoia, I essentially just bricked hard, I think, opening if I recall right. After a while, every match feels like a blur. I still need to get like 6 wins, at least. 6 wins will make it faster. Oh yeah, this is where I bricked a little bit. Enough where I could have actually, I had to use Dinomorphoia early on. Dinomorphoia Sonic. Activate triple, mostly destroy it. And I'm like, okay. Against this, I have an out with Ash Blossom. Next up, I also set break out trap pull early on as I can. Phase 2, set out chain hole. Go into clarity. Go into Ash. King 8. Next time back into to actually mostly get rid of back row. They accidentally did imperf for no damn reason, which I don't understand why. They decided to get a trap chain hole though, but I still have a second one. Dynamite Stiller is where I feel like I had the trouble issue. I was hopeless, I bricked. I felt like... But then Floodgate Trap Hole allowed me to install the excellent link branch and went to defense for no reason that attack. Thinking I said something else, or something else different. Going to this. Essentially, they should have destroyed it. This is where the misplay happened. If I didn't wake up there, I probably win it here. Chain hole was actually my out here. That mostly made us get rid of both of them. I said I gave it a chop now. Dinomorphoia. Essentially, it was a rolling card. I haven't out yet for Dinomorphoia, and I do want to deal with 2000 because otherwise their damage step revolves would have happened. I went to Link here for Tri-Brigade. Go into that Link. Also, I'm trying to get bait out cards I don't know what the heck they are. Point activates effect there. They said Dinomorphoia, so I was like, eh. I still have it out, so I can still Link here again, going to C's here. Going to go for your triple. Go into clear area here. Then go for Link. 4-time Thief. Redoers, so I'll have an extra out if I manage to get a trap card of theirs. I said I bring out Floodgate. Since I had a Greg Fever, I had most of a lot of stuff. I could activate negate Time Thief. I should not activate Time Thief here, but most of their plays would be affected otherwise. Next up, I use Break Thief Time. Next only parents actually they think I'm gonna burn them for some reason, which I find funny. Then I'm like, what the heck are they doing there? Are they just saying at the link or something? They just realized I had tons of doubts, so I don't know. It was odd to me. Okay, the next one pretty much is not really that worth mentioning or showing since there's only 2 turns, but I was like, I'm facing Blue Eyes of all things this whole festival. Essentially, it's at least a decent deck from appearance-wise, utilizing the Nightmare to Sage Eyes, especially work with some of my cards. Though Max's Whitestone, Nibiru, alongside I'm Little Minor Chamber cards, but personally you should be running at least 2 Dragonmaids. You should be running at least, personally, about enough of this, where at least there are 2 copies to go for 41, if nothing else. Next thing, utilize Form Pal, if nothing else, for Fusion for this whole festival. Alongside a ritual card of theirs, but in the old world. Blue Eyes Tyrant. A lot of the usual stuff I usually expect when they're Jets. Overall, most of the packages I would expect. Overall, I thought I'd give it how Blue Eyes. I thought this match I might as well just show you what Blue Eyes at least looks like, what I expect at least, against a TRaptrix deck in this festival format. I meant to grab something else for my traps though, but accidentally did it because otherwise I would have had a link. 3 links to work with. And next I was like, I'm probably definitely Nibiru, but I want to confirm it first. I said negate there. Set 1 trap. I said set Floodgate trap hole since I now know at least I might be dealing with something, but I want something for offense. And Nibiru, I was like, ooh, I might as well get rid of my second Grave Paper one. Negate him, burn him again. Go into Plague Froth. Trap hole for next turn. Activate Floodgate. Send that to grave. Set trap object. Alternate Crazy Excursion. Next on my point, I think surrendered because they had no outs to work with in their hand, and I could go for a game next turn. And I also still had 2 outs of mine I can work with. So overall, those are the matches.